What happened?
Nobody heard anything.
Oh, that's why they were doing.
Yeah. Keep talking. So fellow Toastmasters and guests and online participants, apologies. We had started the meeting, but then we just discovered that we were muted.
Oh,
So this is setting the tone very nicely for the meeting. And again, so I'll have to start my monologue. But before that, just to recap, Toastmaster Imran Rana came and as de facto Sergeant at Arms announced to open the meeting. And then he invited me to open the meeting. And I informed everyone that this is my last meeting as President of Karachi Toastmasters and as District Director. And Toastmaster Imran Rana's last meeting as education, but only to the extent of the label, because he will continue to be the Sergeant at Arms of VP Education for next year as well. Only not with the labels. And this marks the end of the year for KTC, which has been the most successful year in our history in terms of membership growth, in terms of education awards, in terms of anything you can think of. Whether it was sweeping the area contest 5 out of 5, whether it was the quality of our meetings, whether it was attracting members from around the world and around the country, whether it was the quality of our speeches that was seen in each and every meeting, whether it was the quality of the contests that we held, or whether it was the overall ranking of unlimited DCP rewards, which we top currently. And currently we are at number 4 in terms of worldwide rankings. And quite frankly, I said this last year as well, and I'll keep saying it. We are not competing with clubs who submit 50 education awards on June 30. We'd rather not compete with those. So we'll happily fall to 5th or 6th place behind those clubs, but we are not doing what they would be doing. Instead, we have earned each and every one of our levels. We have held more than weekly meetings. We have held like 52 weekly meetings, of course. Our contest meetings have been usually extra ones. Our combined meetings have been extra ones. I'm very confident that if we count, and we will soon count, if we count, we will have more than 80 meetings for the year, if not more. That has been possible due to all of you, all of the members who are present in this meeting, who are not present in this meeting, but have been present throughout the year. It has been a better year and we should all celebrate. This is as good a year as any Toastmasters club on this planet can wish for. And I'm saying this with all my heart, that when people see our dashboard, when people see our agenda from around the world, they can hardly believe their eyes. And I'm just talking about one meeting, by the way. They fail to believe that we hold 3-hour-long meetings, and in those 3-hour-long meetings, we have 8 speeches and table topics and everything else. And something which I've been warned not to talk about too much, and therefore, I will talk about it. How many EXCO members? 8. 8 of our members and alumni are part of District 122 TC's Executive Committee for 2022-23. Round of applause. The total strength of the Executive Committee, Mr. District Admin Manager, you would know.
Last year's or current year?
The current year.
Current year we have around 20.
20.
Yes.
It's the same as last year. We will have 21 though, with the addition of 1 area.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So 8 out of 21 are Karachi Toastmasters Club members. And the biggest part is that none of those members were appointed or elected by KTC members.
Yes.
And that is something that we can all be proud of.
Yes.
After all, a club is nothing without its members. And I always say that there's nothing extraordinary with KTC except for the quality of members that it attracts. And today we have, 3 area directors sitting on the same table. And we have our district parliamentarian, I don't know if he's not online, but yeah, he's our member too.
We have another area director on the screen. Not from our district.
So
DTM
Oh, yeah. Oh,
He's
I
a
forgot.
director.
Oh, yes. DTM Sarfraz is another area director, though in a different district. And what's more, we have, right now, somebody else is present. But there can be no greater honor for one club. And again, let me reiterate that none of these appointments were in any way encouraged or elected or ensured by KDC members. So, with that, I think it's a good time to start the actual meeting. And today, we have a very distinguished Toastmaster today. Why is he distinguished? Because I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, he's doing TMOD for the first time in KDC.
Come on.
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
So everyone, please put your hands together for
Debutant
the avalanche of awesomeness that is today's speakathon and our debutant at KTC. Debutant TMOD, DTM Sarfraz Ali. Over to you.
Thank you, DTM Talha bin Hamid and fellow Toastmasters. Today is not the first time I'm being the T-Mod or the Toastmaster of the day. The first time I served as T-Mod was at the first meeting of this year, January 5th, when Toastmaster Imran Rana had put me down as Toastmaster of the day, speaker, and evaluator. And I'm glad that I looked at the list of the evaluators, and I'm not on the list. Thank you, Toastmaster Imran Rana, for that awesomeness.
Are you complaining or?
Yeah, well, we'll leave it up to you, however you want to take it. But I remember a lot of WhatsApp posts after the meeting saying that, hey, no one should be allowed to get 4 awards in the same meeting. That'll tell you. Well, when I saw the theme of the meeting, the avalanche of awesomeness, I thought instead of a speakathon, someday we need to have a meeting. No speeches, just round robin evaluation on the awesomeness of Karachi Toastmasters Club. Because you cannot talk about Karachi Toastmasters Club and its awesomeness in simply 5 minutes. It needs at least 3 hours. So maybe our new VP Education, DTM Talha, will someday set up a meeting that we just talk about KTC. Maybe 2 hours about KTC and 1 hour about DTM Talha. Having attended meetings of more than 12 clubs during the past few months, I can tell you the difference between Karachi Toastmasters and other clubs. This is one club where you can speak and give your speeches whenever you want to, once a month, once in 6 months, or once every week. And why do I say? You think there are other clubs. Many clubs struggle to get speakers, yet when a guest speaker volunteers, for example, like I did in some clubs, they were glad to have me as a guest speaker. But then when I volunteered to speak again at the following meeting, no. In one club, the VP Education said, oh, Mariana, ain't you going to give a speech? I thought you, okay. See, she was not thinking of speech, VP Education, and now telling. And then I said, okay, if she's speaker 1, I can be speaker number 2. It's, Mariana, ain't you going to give a long speech? Yeah, maybe 40 minutes. Okay, so then few hours before the meeting, message comes out, hey, I'm not ready. I won't be able to give my speech. The second speaker said, I'm not feeling well, so I won't be attending the meeting. The club had no speakers that day, but yet when someone volunteers to speak, they don't want. They only want members to give speeches so they can get credit for it, not guest speakers. Generally speaking, the Toastmaster meeting has 3 segments. Today is a speaker-thon, so we have only 2 segments of speeches, a list of prepared speakers, and evaluations. We also have helpers roles. So I'm going to mention some of the roles, and then I'll ask a couple of them to explain their roles. Our grammarian today is Toastmaster Fahim Razak. As a grammarian, he's going to track the use of grammar, the correct usage, good and bad, and he'll give us some examples towards the end of the meeting when he's asked to give his report. Did we use good English, correct English, where singular noun went with plural verb, for example, which would be an example of bad English use. Our timer, I was surprised. I saw there was a mistake when I saw the name of the timer, because I thought timer was Toastmaster Imran, but no, it's going to be Talha bin Hamid. Something must have happened. Maybe it's the traffic jam or something, climate change in Karachi that caused this change. But timer is supposed to time the speeches, prepared speeches, and also the evaluations. If it's a 5 to 7 minute speech, the green light will come on at 5, the yellow at 6, and the red at 7. And the red light will stay on until the speaker has finished speaking. If you are using your iPhone to give your speech, make sure you have the timer on there, and not like one of the speakers from the table topics contest. She gave a very good table topics response, but she could not see the timer on her phone. So she kept on talking, adding more material. And by the time she finished, she had gone not 1 to 2 minutes, but maybe 3 or 4 minutes. And unfortunately, she disqualified. Our R counter, and that's the person who's going to track all our filler words, ahs, and so's, repeats, and the other. Our vote counter is also our club president, Talha bin Hamid. What a feeling knowing that you have 1 more day and then you'll be immediate past president, no longer club president. Of course, I don't have to explain what a vote counter does. He's going to count the votes. So if you're in the room, you'll pass on your votes to him. If you're online, you'll send your votes through WhatsApp, not to everyone, just to DTM Talha only. Our listener is TM Wase Ahmed. He's going to be listening to the speeches, get some points from the speeches, and then he'll ask questions to see, were we paying attention, or we were multitasking and doing something else and not paying attention to what was being said during the speech. Our word master is Toastmaster Fahim Razak. Toastmaster Fahim Razak, would you kindly tell us what the word of the day is?
Sure. Thank you, DTM Sasarbas. Oh, I'm sorry. Good morning, ladies and gents. Oh, I'm sorry. Good evening, that is. Well, you see, I'm very fallible.
Yeah.
And that's the word of the day. Capable of making mistakes or being wrong. Used in a sentence, we are all very awesome. The club is awesome, but we are all also fallible. So that's the word of the day. I encourage you to use it in your speeches, in your evaluation. And with that, back to you, DTM Sasarbas.
Thank you, awesome Toastmaster Fahim. Karachi Toastmasters Club, as I mentioned, is awesome, but it is only 99% awesome. What happened to the rest of the 1%? I will declare KTC 110% awesome the day I see Karachi Toastmasters meeting at Beach Luxury Hotel, where they have a spotlight on the speaker, so we don't see just a black image of the speaker. And I guess we have an awesome Toastmaster, Rabia Zishan. We should, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan, sometimes we need to ask you to go find another venue where we can actually see the speakers and not just an image, or believe that when someone says that's Toastmaster for him, oh yes, looks like him. Because the lighting is bad. Not only lighting, what about Wi-Fi? Most of the time, it's not the members who are having problems with the Wi-Fi from their home or in their offices. It's the club in itself, where the Wi-Fi is not working, and then DTM Saad Shoaib has to use his laptop and some hotspot, and then you have on and off. And I think of that moment because it was 23rd March, Pakistan Day, when I gave a long speech. Online members could not hear me because the Wi-Fi was so bad. There was no sound going out. They just saw I was there and they believed me by so my hands that I was giving a speech. They just took my word for it that I actually said something meaningful. And our joke master today is our youngest member, almost youngest, unless we find someone, an 18-year-old who joins the club, DTM Ali Ashar Anjum.
So much Toastmaster of the day, Sir DTM Sarfaraz. So as you all know that I used to be more relevant when I was a teen and used to impress girls with my jokes. So what were those jokes? So these are the riddles actually. If this is Superman, what is it?
Superwoman.
If this is Superman, what?
If this is Superman, what is it?
Your left hand. Your left hand.
Superman returns. Second joke. Sorry. Second, try to impress a what song will 12.9999 will sing? What song will 12.9999 sing?
0.001.
13, 13, 13.
Tera,
Good. Very nice.
Okay,
Good one.
the last one. Which two words combine? Which two combination of words have maximum number of letters? Which two combination of words have maximum number of letters? Post office.
Yes.
I am in awe, DTM Ali. We now begin our prepared speeches segment of the meeting. Our first speaker is Toastmaster Nuha Riaz. I'll ask at this time Toastmaster Imran Rana to please tell us the objectives of Toastmaster Nuha Riaz's speech.
Okay, Toastmaster Noha just requested that she will be the last speaker. So you can call Toastmaster Ali. Do we have Ali Zaran? Yes. Do we have Ali Zaran? And Toastmaster Shamam is also in the meeting.
Yeah.
Fellow Toastmasters, I forgot to mention that there was a statement at the bottom of the agenda. Somehow when I printed, it got cut off. The statement said, this agenda is subject to change.
Yes.
We need to write that.
And those
Okay.
changes are subject to change.
Okay, Toastmaster Shamam Khan will tell us the objectives of TM Ali Zargam's speech.
we have Toastmaster Shimon with us?
Yes.
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 And since the agenda is always subject to change, maybe we should always be ready on the spot. So Toastmaster Karachi Toastmaster Club is teaching us that as well. Anyways, Toastmaster Zargan to present Toastmaster Ali Zargan is going to present Meaningful Life as the title of his speech from the Presentation Mastery Level 1 Project 3 that requires him to present after researching. The purpose of this project for him is to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. His speech length is 5 to 7 minutes. Looking forward to hearing you, Toastmaster Ali Zargan.
Presenter.
What's that?
मैं वो खोल दूं आप इधर
हाँ.
खोल दूं मैं खोल दूं हाँ मेरे पास है
You have it?
yeah
All right.
connecting yes hang on in the meantime we can sing a song. Okay, DTM Surprise. Just a heads up. Next speaker will be Toastmaster Naveed Aslam.
All right. It's so.
Yes.
DTM Surprise. Next speaker will be Toastmaster Naveed Aslam. After Ali Zargan. Ali Zargan.
Thank you.
Great.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, good evening and Assalamu alaikum. Today, my topic is a meaningful life. Do you know the meaning of meaningful life? Let me ask you some questions. Suppose you are at your dead bed and you are thinking about your life. Would you like to think that it was worth it? Your answers are yes, no, or you don't care. Of course you care. My second question is, after your death, there is a gathering of knowledge and people having wisdom. Comment on your life. Would you like them to say that your life was worth it? Yes, no, or no? Yes. Of course you care. So, we all want to achieve a meaningful life, but few of us only able to achieve that goal. Next.
It will take some time.
Okay. So the people who really achieve a meaningful life follow this framework. You can see strategic vision. Strategic vision is a long-term sound vision we should have in our lives. It has clarity and correctness. The second thing is strategic time management. The ability to prioritize our work in line with long-term long-term sound vision. Then we have to achieve that priority with determination and azam. The third thing is competence. Competence is knowledge, skills, and ability to achieve that vision. The fourth thing is leadership. Leadership is ability to share our vision and inspire others and facilitate others to share those long-term vision goals. So today I'm going to discuss time. What is time? Time is a unique resource that cannot rented, hired, or bought. It is no price. There is no price for it. You cannot store it. There is no substitute of time. The symptoms of poor time management is you don't achieve your goals. There are some myths associated with time. That time we have not enough time. Time flies. Time is against us. These are only myths. There are some important tasks and some urgent tasks. Sleeping. Is it urgent? No. Is it important? Yes. Watching a live cricket match. Urgent? Yes. You have to see it. But it's not important. Gossip. Not important. Not urgent.
Most important.
Exercise. Not urgent. Yes, but important. We all should do exercise. So, Mr. Stephen Covey gave this chart. He said that there are 4 quadrants which we can divide our task in. So, first quadrant is urgent and important work. These tasks are crisis, emergency, pressure problem, deadlines. The second one is not urgent but important. These are the most important tasks. These are preparation and planning and prevention, value clarifications, and our long-term work. The third one is not important but urgent. These are interruptions, emails, calls, and meetings. The fourth one is not important, not urgent. So these are the activities, like using net and gossips and other activities. So let's divide these works in our quadrants. Second quadrant, sleeping. Sleeping is, yes, not urgent, but important. Watching cricket live match, yes, it's in third quadrant. Gossip in fourth quadrant. Exercise in second quadrant. So the lesson of my presentation is that we have to focus only on quadrant 2. It's important, but not urgent. If we achieve to work on only second quadrant, we don't have to rush for the first quadrant. First quadrant work will automatically done if we do it one time. So the second quadrant things are mission, goals, deep relationship building, mentoring, professional development, soul nourishment, exercise, deep reading. So thank you guys.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali Zarghum. I hope after the meeting, we'll think about where does the KTC meeting fall in quadrant 1, 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah.
For different members, it'll be, I guess, all 4 quadrants. Toastmaster Imran Rana, can I now go to speaker number 3 on the agenda?
Toastmaster Naveed Aslam.
Okay. Evaluating Toastmaster Naveed is Toastmaster Rabia Zishan. Toastmaster Rabia, please tell us the objectives of his speech.
Thank you so much, DTM Sarfaraz. So today, I will be evaluating Toastmaster Naveed Aslam. He is giving his project from Dynamic Leadership Level 3 elective project, which is conducting a question and answer session. So Toastmaster Naveed will have to give an informative speech and then conduct a question and answer session after that. And he has to also manage the time so that he has enough time to manage both of them, the speech as well as the question answer session. The purpose of this project is that Toastmaster Naveed will learn and practice facilitating a Q&A session. Toastmaster Naveed Aslam, silent intruder. Silent intruder, Toastmaster Naveed Aslam. And is 10 to 12?
15 to 20.
15 to 20 minutes.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. We all know the time when mobile phones came to Pakistan. And we all know how expensive the calls were. I could not even imagine of owning a mobile phone till 2003. And that was also only to show that I have a mobile. Fast forward 2009. I was forced by one of my colleagues to buy a smartphone, a small HTC Android. And I remember I was not like it. It does the same thing as my old Nokia was doing. In fact, it has a very short battery life. But then slowly and gradually, fast internet creeped in. Fellow Toastmasters, internet-enabled mobile phones, or we call them smartphones, are having a profound impact on our behaviors and on the overall society. They enable the convergence of communication and computing and leveraging the function and services from almost each and every industry. This makes a very lethal combination, and therefore we feel being impacted in every aspect, both positive and negative. According to Pakistan Telecommunication Authority, PTA, Pakistan has 190 million telephone subscribers, mobile subscribers. Out of those 190 million, 114 million have 3G or 4G enabled on their phones, which is a very good number by any standard. Now let's look at the positive side of the smartphones as to how we Pakistanis are being impacted and utilizing smartphones in our day-to-day life. How it has revolutionized the way of living and creeped in to our day-to-day. So let's look at banking and finance first. As per the payment system data of State Bank of Pakistan, there are 27 banks which are offering mobile applications. as of December 21st, 2021, there are 11.92 million subscribers of mobile applications who use mobile applications as doing banking, as against 9 million in December 30th, 2020. So when we come to the transaction, these users have done almost 11 million of transactions, 93 million of transactions in as of December 31st, 2021, as against 44 million in 2020. Now come to the value of the transaction. It jumped from around 1.1 trillion in December 2020 to almost two-folds, which is 2.9 trillion, which is almost 2 times. What sort of transactions we did? It's interbank transfers, it's bill payments, it's payments of our school fees, bill payments, all these sort of payments that we have done in mobile bank by using the mobile banking. So that's where this actually has a very profound impact on the way we are utilizing this technology. This is transforming the retail banking for Pakistan. If we look at the overall size of the accounts which is available in Pakistan, which is around 50 million plus, 11 million users of mobile banking doesn't sound much. But this is the beginning that is transforming the retail banking for the customers. It brings ease anywhere, anytime. Mobile wallets, which we call as a layman language, Jazz Cash or Easy Pesa, is getting core segment of the society into the financial ambit. Recent launches of digital account opening on mobile phones and the recent launch of Raft payment system by SBP will have a very profound impact, and I'm sure it's going to be double digit. Now let's come to another segment, which is shopping. We all like shopping. Although there is no confirmed data around e-commerce available in Pakistan, but there is a website which is called Picodi, P-I-C-O-D-I, Picodi. They've done a research based on 2080 data, and as per them, 50% of the online shopping was done through mobile phones. And the usual culprit were the age bands of 25 to 35 years old. The ticket size was 9,000 PKR. The first category was electronics, second is clothing, third is food deliveries, and then it goes on. There is also a website called Statistia, and it says that in 2021, the volume of online shopping was $7 billion. 50% of them was done through mobile phones. The third point that I want to talk is mobility. Who would have thought before 2012 how the mobility will transform in Pakistan? You just have a mobile phone, call Uber, call Kareem, and then you got the cab, which is now being transformed into a delivery company as well. Imagine the ease that we all are getting through this smartphone, which is creeping into our lives. Mobile phone in every aspect is impacting our lives. The key impact is that it gets you connected anywhere, anytime. Positive and negative are a secondary debate, especially around social media, where the fallible information is quite rampant. I would now like to open up the floor for any questions.
Okay, I have one question, Toastmaster Ravi. Yeah, first of all, given our logistics and the size of our country and the state of transportation, one would think that we'd have a much higher penetration of online banking. And yet here we are, the figures that you quoted. Similarly, even the penetration for online shopping, online utility payment, that is also very, very tiny compared to the market size. And it turns out that our people find various social, religious, cultural, ethical excuses not to make life easy for themselves and for others. So how do we fight against that? Because I've been seeing this for years now.
So since the voice is very low, so I have to sit down. Yeah. So if I repeat the question, so our size of the online shopping is very tiny when compared to the rest of the world. That is the question.
Yeah, online banking to online utility payment, you name it. Like,
yeah,
we have all sorts of reasons to make life difficult for us and for others. We'd rather stand long lines, but we never for one believe that the utility company will charge our account correctly.
Yep.
People always say that, what if we pay and it doesn't get recorded? So how do you get over that? Because this is something that is uncurable.
Yeah. So let me give you a two-pronged answer to that. The first one is financial literacy. I believe that as we teachers in our school, history, Islamiyat, maths, we should be teaching financial literacy as well, which force or at least open up the mind of the people that banking can be done on computer as well as on mobile phones. That will actually help in horizontal penetration, as you have just mentioned. The second thing, which is also somewhat real, is the security aspect. Most of the even educated people are not relying that their data is safe when they are doing the transaction on mobile phones, which is a myth that no one can take out the data from a mobile phone because it is just a front end. Everything resides at the bank and which is quite safe. So these are two important areas. And the third one is that we are laggards. Till 2 years back, we were you can just check your balance, you can transfer the funds, you can ask for the checkbook. It's just recently, because of the regulatory push, that the new sort of payments are being included in the mobile application, which also shows why the number has actually gone twofolds up as far as the transaction value is concerned. So I hope I have answered your question.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster David. That yes, about the security bit, people would rather carry cash and be robbed on the street, but they will never utilize online banking, and they will always complain that it is unsafe and their data is not safe. So yeah, any further questions, please?
From the online audience.
Online audience, the floor is open to questions. All right, I'll have one follow-up question to Toastmaster David. Yes, I know that I just mocked our people for being paranoid, but it is true that there have been data leaks and privacy leaks the world over. No system is completely foolproof. So, is it true that you are in a state of compromise in terms of your privacy and security, and the only thing you're counting upon is that online data leaks and privacy breaches happen quite rarely compared to the total size of the market?
Yeah. So yeah, this question has let me try to answer it in phases. First phase is the absence of relevant laws. Number two, our own cultural aspect wherein we just hand over CNIC to anyone. And when our statement of account, which is still in physical form, comes in, we have our big name on it, and then the account number, and then the address, and everything visible to the guy who just throw it, if not in your house, then someone else's door, and your privilege information, which we call personal identifiable information, PII, is available. So first and foremost, we as a country need to have a legislation which is in process on personally identified information, on handling of personally identified information, not only for the banks, but for every aspect where we share data, where people ask us for our CNIC, where everyone conveniently asks to give your name, your address, your father name, your mother name. So that's one thing. The second thing where we have data leaks is almost everywhere. And if you, bearing one case, if you look at how data is leaked, that still goes into the literacy, wherein people share their ID, people share their CNIC number, and get caught from the fraudster who actually posing them as calling from central bank or calling from law enforcement agencies, just get hold of that information, and then you end up losing your money. So first is the legislation, and then the implementation of that legislation. But having with these two things, financial literacy will be on the horizontal side, wherein people should feel comfortable of using the application or the internet or the mobile or the other channels, which are actually far easier to use than going to the bank. And third is the enablement by the government, which is the RAST program, wherein you don't need a lengthy mobile or your account number. Just your phone number could be your mobile, your account number, and you can send or receive payment. The basic payments should be cost-free. The cost is another element. All this enablement, when together, will eventually help everyone to actually start using this channel.
Thank you so much. So, any more questions, online or person? All right. There is such a thing as being too good with a presentation, so as not to leave any questions. And today, Toastmasters Naveed seems to have achieved that. So, I believe that's it then. Thank you so much. And
thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Naveed and TTM Talha. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Anam Qadri. Evaluating his speech is Toastmaster Fahim Razak. Toastmaster Fahim, please let us know the objectives of our speech and project.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, DTM Sir Sarfraz, and very good evening, ladies and gents.
Yeah. Let's do the camera.
Yeah. Face the camera.
Wow.
That just confirms what my wife keeps telling me every time we take a photo. You're never correct. Your posture is never correct. Okay, so my target speaker tonight is Toastmaster Anam Qadri, aka the First Lady.
For one more day.
For one full day. And a half day. Pathway, engaging humor, level 1, project 3.
Presentation.
The speech length will be 5 to 7 minutes. The purpose of the speech is, the purpose of this project is for TM Anam Qadri to learn or review basic research methods and present a well-organized, well-researched speech on any topic. The title of the speech is The Starry Night. And word of the day is fallible. Toastmaster Anam Qadri, the Starry Night. The Starry Night, Toastmaster Anam Qadri.
I was just a second.
Okay.
Now then, you asked me to run the presentation. I asked a second person. That person asked a third one, and finally a fourth person is now about to run the presentation. So just wait a few seconds.
All right, this presentation would start from the beginning. All right. First slide will be shown on the presentation would start from the beginning.
All right.
From the beginning of my speech. Okay.
All right.
I have given the clue when to start showing the presentation.
Loud and clear. I've heard it loud and clear. All right. No, it won't. It won't.
It won't.
It's a family matter.
Don't worry,
Have you heard of too many books?
I can see it now.
Yeah. All right. So Imran, share the keywords too.
I'm sharing it.
Okay, you're sharing it. So okay. So all right. So finally, it's back to the third. Yeah.
Shall I begin now?
Just a second. Imran. Yeah.
All right. All right.
Abhi, right now it doesn't. It's not. It's appearing. Yeah. All right.
Thank you for giving it off to the audience. Now, no more surprises.
All right. All right.
Shall I begin now?
Yeah. As good a time as any.
It seems to me that night is more richly colored than the day. Colored with the intents of violets, blues, and greens. If you look closely, you'll find that some stars are lemony, while others have pink, green, and the forget-me-not blue ray or hope or tint. Fellow Toastmasters and guests, I know you might be sitting in your capsule, your room, enclosed rooms, where you won't have access to the night outside, to the starry night outside. But as you peek about from the window, you will find that these words are true. While I am awed with the natural beauty and fascinated by the hues and shades of the nature palette, I grieve to say that I am no wordsmith when it comes to describing the tints and shades of nature. These words that I quoted a few minutes back were by Vincent van Gogh, the artist of the famous painting, The Starry Night. This painting was painted in June 1882, when Van Gogh was hospitalized in a mental asylum. A clinic, a place where he was admitted for his mental sickness and to heal from his amputated ear. The asylum gave him a room towards the east side of the building, from where his only view was the wheat fields widespread throughout the landscape. As you can see in this picture, all everyone could see were the vast wheat fields. And the mountains that you see in the starry night were actually something from his imagination, something he might have noticed during his infancy, and he wanted to put it into words, into his painting to complete the picture. Despite the fact that this painting was done in an attempt of 21, he tried 21 different times to paint this entire scenery. Every time in a different time of the day or the night, and even in under different weather conditions. But all you could see in these paintings were the folds and lines of the clouds and the folds and curves of the mountains. Nowhere in the picture could you see those bars through which he was in his window, through which he was viewing this entire scenery. You can see the true essence of artistry in him. He was more focused towards the beauty of nature, towards capturing that in his canvas, than to think about the shackles and the hindrances that were keeping him behind. After he completed his painting, he was still not satisfied. He thought it was a failure, as could be seen from his letter to his brother, Theo van Gogh. And his brother also affirmed that yes, in this painting, he was more focused towards stylizing the shades and the tints, that the true essence of the picture was gone. But fellow Toastmasters and guests, this was the most famous painting, the most famous work of Vincent van Gogh, and the most approved of them. Sometimes what you do, you think is a failed attempt or an unsuccessful attempt or an incomplete attempt, might be the best in the eyes of others. Why? Because it shows your true dedication, your love, your commitment towards it. Sometimes that counts, and that depicts in your picture. In this picture, in this painting, you could see the lines and the folds of the whirlpools of the clouds that depicted his mental state. How he had a combination of ideas and concepts, and he was creating and recreating them, forming and reforming them, and he wanted to put them all in one canvas. You can even see the stylized cypress tree emerging in the foreground that depicted the link between the heavens and the earth, ultimately depicting the death and eventually into Vincent's commitment of suicide. Researchers say that the time when this painting was done, when he was working on the starry night, the brightest of the star that you could see on your left, I think, it is on the peak of the cypress tree. That is actually the Venus, because at that time, it was the most visible and the most brightest on the sky, which Van Gogh might have captured at that moment. Where is it located today? Well, it is placed among most of the prominent articles in the Museum of Modern Art in New York City since 1941, and it's still there. A rough copy is here with me. I can let you see it. Maybe a little attempt. As you can see here, my dear husband painted it 7 years back. He tried to copy it down as he was very much inspired by Van Gogh's painting. And in this attempt, you can see there is a Venus. Yes, there is a crescent more towards the moon, but there are the whirlpools of the clouds. And well, he's an emerging artist. You never know when it turns out into an art gallery. Till then, over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Anum, about your presentation. And you also managed to throw in your husband in the speech. Since we are not following the agenda, who wants to go next as the speaker?
You are the next speaker. And now we can follow the agenda.
Okay, and I will ask DTM Ali Asher Anjum to please tell us the objectives of the speech.
Our next speaker is DTM Sarfraz Nazir. Reflect on the path. The pathway was motivational strategy according to the agenda, and the speech length would be 10 to 12 minutes. The purpose of this project is for the member to reflect on his growth during the completion of an entire path. The purpose of this speech is for the member to share some aspect of his growth during the completion of the path. So, for DTM, Sarfraz Nazir.
Toastmaster Ali, is Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir in the room?
Yes.
Yes.
No.
Not
no.
here. He is outside.
Okay, he's online.
No, he is
in the room, but he
He's
just.
coming in.
Oh, okay. I just want to make sure I don't say anything bad about him.
He's on the call.
Imagine that you are at a horse racing track, watching horse races. You may have noticed that before the start of the race, the horses are brought in by the jockeys and the trainers and placed into their individual gates so that the horses are ready to take off when the gates are open. You may have also noticed that there is always one horse who is not willing to go into the gate. He's moving to the left or moving to the right. It is a struggle to get him into the gate. I am one of those horses. In 2017, Toastmasters International, before moving their headquarters from California to Colorado, launched the Pathways Education Program. Many Toastmasters in different regions adopted the new program. Even though I was a very active Toastmaster, I did not follow the new path because Toastmasters said that you have 2 years to continue using the previous manuals. Every now and then when I gave a speech, it was from the advanced manual, professionally speaking, a keynote speech or a key to motivate the audience. I don't even know why, but last year, I decided to order my first pathway, even though it had been 4 years since someone sent an email saying that the first path is free. And even though I love free, I never went for it. So I ordered my path in June and gave my first speech, Icebreaker, at a local club in District 25 on June 7th. My goal was to complete 2 paths, presentation mastery and engaging humor. And as time went by, when I joined KTC, not as a member, but as an honorary member and gave my first speech, Icebreaker, on 27th October, I speeded up my journey and decided that I will complete 5 pathways in 1 year, which means 5 completions by 7th of June, 2022. And I thought, if I do that, when I tell people that I gave and completed 5 paths, that's an average of 2.4 paths per month, people are going to wonder what that means, 0.4. So I thought, well, I'll have to go with 6 pathways. So I can divide 12 by 6 and tell people, hey, that's an average of 1 path per 2 months. And I did achieve my goal, even though I had been moving the goalpost as I went along. And when I completed 6 paths on June 7th of this year, I knew there's 3 weeks left before Toastmaster Imran Rana's term as club VP education expires. And he's going to say, okay, what's the next speech and what am I going to tell him? Oh, Toastmaster Imran, I'm doing some voluntary work in a remote village in South America where there's no internet, so I won't be able to join KTC meetings or give any speech. I knew he's not that fallible or that gullible that he will accept that explanation. So I decided, okay, I'll go for one more path. So today, as I complete my 7 paths, the final speech, reflect on your path. To see your reflection, you have to stand in front of the mirror. And when I stood in front of the mirror, I did not like the image I saw. I noticed all the mistakes that I made. But then I realized that's what speaking is all about. You take the mistakes you have made in your life and you talk about them and the lesson that you have learned. I thought I'll talk about some of the speeches I've given, especially at KTC, but that's going to be not a speech that can fit in 12 minutes. So I just posted on the WhatsApp group the list of speeches that I've given. If you put all the speeches that I've given within KTC, it's like a long, long icebreaker. You have learned a lot about me. But what I remember is not the speeches I've given, but the awesome people that I've met. I want to share with you something about few of the Toastmasters that I have seen along my path journey. Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid. He's a workhorse. Club president, district director. Soon he'll be immediate past district director, immediate past club president, but he's also going to be club VP education. And he is also going to be club president at a club far, far away. Now, that keeps him quite busy. You might think that Toastmaster Anum Qadri would be upset that he's always out of the house, or if he's at home, he's in front of a camera giving speeches. But no, she's happy that he stays busy with Toastmaster. That keeps him out of her hair. If he attends KTC meeting, that's about 4 hours. That's enough time for Toastmaster Anu to go to Doman Mall for shopping. And before he's back home, she can be back home.
Excellent.
And she can say, oh, how was the Toastmaster meeting? Oh, I'm so tired. I've been doing all this housework and taking care of the kids. Toastmaster Talha represents what Toastmasters is all about, helping others. But then as I moved forward, I met Toastmaster Imran Rana. Whenever I think of him, I don't see his face. I just see a watch or a clock, because he's always the timer. But more than being a timer, he's a very, very dedicated Toastmaster. I have seen dozens of VP of education. Some take their job seriously, some not. But he knows what a VP education is all about. Even though sometimes we may feel frustrated with his messages coming every 5-10 minutes, that meeting is around the corner, take up roles. But if he did not do that, many of us will not attend meetings. Many of us will not take up the roles. Many of us will not even give our speeches. Thanks to him, that there are so many KTC members who join every week and give their speeches. There are not too many clubs on this earth where you see 10, 11, 12 speakers on the agenda. Many, many clubs have 0 speakers on their agenda. And what they do, they have a long, elongated table topic session. Then I saw DTM Ali Asher. Oh man, when you see him, he's like a wounded soldier. Broken heart. He could be a poster child for Valentine's Day. But good thing about him is that he takes his romantic tragedy and makes into a humorous speech, all the way winning the KDC humorous speech contest. Then there's Toastmaster Latif. I haven't seen him lately because he's busy with his job. But I do remember he's the one who told us, kick the idiot. There also is Toastmaster Fahim Razak. Whenever I see him, I see dance. On 23rd March, when he was introduced as a speaker, he didn't start his speech after coming in front of the audience. He started dancing even before he got up. He is a person that is always having fun. And each time he sees me, he always mentions Parveen and Nasreen, even though they are no longer a part of my life. But now I've also told him about Brenda. Someday I will tell him about Diana. And some of the other mistakes that I've made. For example, it was Valentine's Day, 14th of February. I went shopping with my wife. When we came back, we got into the car. I received a call from a female Toastmaster. I made the mistake of answering the call. Fellow male Toastmasters never, never, ever answer a phone call from a female when your wife is next to you. The Toastmaster said, I called you to wish you happy Valentine's Day. My wife said, who was that? I said, oh, Toastmaster, she wanted to talk about her speech. My wife said, she didn't mention any speech. She said she wanted to wish you a happy Valentine's Day. Well, that can be a speech. Then Toastmaster Saad Shoaib was another person I met on my journey. He is very quiet, stays in the background, but he's always doing something for the club or the district. And what about Toastmaster Rabia Zishan? We know she's passionate about the Citizens Foundation, but if you wanted to have a district event at a nice venue, you want to have a club picnic, you call upon Toastmaster Zishan. Not only I have met fantastic people in my journey, but I've also been evaluated, the words that I've spoken, by the evaluators who have bumped me up, who have inspired me and motivated me, and also made me a better speaker. Not only a better speaker, but also a better human being. The top 5 evaluators who have evaluated my speeches several times include Rabia Zishan, Asghar Ramzan, Nali, Ali Ashananjum, Talha bin Hamid, 21 evaluators. It's not the speeches that I remember when I'm reflecting on my journey. It's the people that I've met along my journey. And I will always cherish that. Back to you, Toastmaster. Next speaker is DTM Ali Ashar Anjum. Evaluating his speech is Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir. Toastmaster Ghulam Qadir, please tell us the objectives of Ali's speech.
Fellow Toastmasters and guests, before I call this young wounded soldier, so it's got a good tagline, a good name today.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm very curious to know that how many Toastmasters in this whole wide world have achieved a double DTM in a young age. I would really like to know. Reason being, this young wounded soldier is going to complete the 3rd pathway today. And that means 50% of the second DTM share. And if this DTM Ali Ashar carries on with this pace, he will achieve 37 times DTM at the age of DTM Sarfaraz. So that's, I just calculated it. So he'll be reflecting on his path, and the pathway is motivational strategy. Wish you good luck with this project.
It was, I guess, January 2020 when I stepped into the beach dictionary hotel. It was the princess suit, and the first guy I met was DTM Shahrukh Shahbaz. Then Toastmaster Umar Bhaiya came to me and said, "Would you like to speak to the table topics?" I said, "Okay, yes." But due to some time management, I couldn't speak in that particular form. Next week, this wounded soldier again came to the beach luxury hotel. And guess what? It was a international speech contest. But then I again came to the beach luxury hotel, and this time I get an opportunity to speak in a famous trial of Toastmaster Assemble. And then what happened? The lockdown. And I became member of Karachi Toastmasters Club on 10th March 2020, officially. And I took around 3 months to prepare for my icebreaker. And I delivered my first icebreaker on 3rd May 2020, and my second speech on 3rd June 2020. And then I get that confidence that I can speak. Toastmasters, these two years are supposed to be important year of my life when I was planning my life in 2018. Being good academic, having a good academic record at any university, I was envisioning myself that I would be doing masters from abroad on some scholarship. But due to certain reasons, I couldn't get that. And that thing, and I have to hide that thing. I don't want to face that. So with my stammering and this crisis, I was hanging somewhere in between. And I was most fallible person on earth. A confused one, baffled, and don't know what to think. Then Toastmaster Muhammad Bakar, who used to be my boss in one of my internships, he suggested me and advised me that you are go to the beach luxury hotel and be consistent, and you will improve. And that advice was a golden advice for me. I joined Toastmasters. Then what happened? With every speech, I used to practice each and every speech for the whole night on my rooftop. And that was the most wonderful time of my life, when I really start talking with myself. Who am I? What I have achieved and what I can achieve in future. With every speech, I was approaching and approaching and approaching. And in Toastmasters, I get mentors like Toastmaster Umar Rayat and RPP Education Toastmaster Imran Rana, who always pushed me. DTM Tala, who always give me a cogent, honest feedback that what you are going to do and what should be your next step. When I joined Toastmaster, I don't want to become a DTM. But once I get into it, I start loving it. With every speech, I was improving, and my that phase of dark was kept vanished with the dawn of that Toastmasters. First pathway, second pathway, and with that second pathway, I was inducted into the fast track of DTM. Yeah. And then what should I do next now? It's time for the third pathway. And how it happened, actually, I was not enrolled in it, and it was a meeting of and they just said who want to speak. So I became an impromptu Urdu speaker with the title "Musse Pehli Si Mohabbat Mere Mehboob Mehman." And from that meeting, that wounded soldier was born. Yeah. And I start realizing that, oh, this is the thing that people like. And this is how I start this pathway of motivational strategy, and I find a strategy to motivate people. Yeah. So what I did, from hopeless romantic to the black hole. That is a journey of my motivational strategy. That how from every speech to speech, and I also face multiple audience during this pathway. From the CA Toastmaster Club, KE Toastmaster Club, BG Khan, etc., etc. During this journey, as I know that I was doing it to erase that was happening with me, but we are planning something, and God is one who is the most magnificent planner. And what he did, if I went to some other country during the coronavirus, what will happen? I will stick there. And in these 2 years, I became a DTM or a youngest DTM of District 130. But what are the forces that usually want people that how they are going to take the lead? Before I delivered my first speech, I already made a history by becoming our Chief Sergeant at Arms of our first annual conference of the district 122. And that was before my very first speech or my icebreaker.
Yeah.
And all credit goes to the Toastmaster Imran. Whenever the history of District 122 have been written, so my name would be there as a person who started the conference, being the Sergeant at Arms. So all the things, the nature is with me, the love is always with me, and the lovely people like you all are with me. So in this 2 years, what I have achieved, I didn't get any degree. But a DTM recognition from the Toastmasters International from USA.
Wow.
A golden shield on which you can feel my name by touching it. And probably the youngest president of SOL Toastmaster Club.
Today.
Yes. Yes. And also the youngest chief judge also. So the nature
Nobody's checking.
is making, yes.
Youngest timer as well.
Yes.
You can name it and I will be there as the youngest of all.
Yeah.
So Toastmasters, this journey was a journey of jubilation, a journey which made me who am I today. As I told you that I was one of the most valuable person whenever I was called, shivering hands, sweating, and I couldn't utter a single word. Now I am speaking for last 10 years. And that is the power of those masters and all such wonderful people who fosters me, guide me, and always there for me whenever where I need them. So thank you all for making me who am I today.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ali. I did not mean to label you as the wounded soldier. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Vishan Aziz. Evaluating his speech is DTM Talha. DTM Talha.
Yes. Thank you so much, Toastmaster of the day. Toastmaster Vishan Aziz will be delivering his project, delivering social speeches, and you'll be delivering what precisely?
It's the praise.
Toast and praise.
So it is a project in which a speaker can deliver a toast or an acceptance speech, a speech to honor an individual, or a speech to honor an organization. The purpose of this project is for the member to practice delivering social speeches in front of club members. The duration of the project is 3 to 4 minutes. Did you have a title or did I miss it?
The title was just a number 995.
All right. So
You are delivering 2 speeches, right?
1.5. Okay, second one, yeah. That's the second one.
I
all
got
right.
you.
So you'll be delivering first and second both the speeches, right?
Sure.
The toast.
Sure.
The toast and the praise, right?
Okay.
So actually,
Sure.
What's your name?
The brief of the project is to deliver 2 social speeches of 3 to 4 minutes each. And the title of the first speech is 995. So everyone, please put your hands together for Toastmaster Vishal Naveed. 995. 995. Toastmaster Vishal.
If you eat 3 meals a day, it will take you 330 days to eat 995 meals. If you get a monthly salary, it will take you 83 years to get 995 salaries. If you spend 5 minutes washing dishes every day, in 995 days, you will have spent 10 hours standing and washing dishes. Now, what if I told you if you had a club where you went to a weekly meeting 995 times, what would be the answer for that? What would you have? Karachi Toastmasters Club. And just to add, it is number 4, as I heard at the beginning. But is it only time that has made this club what it is? The answer is no. Now, I can't comment on the past several years that the club has been happening. I've only been here 9 months, 10 months.
You're more.
Yeah, not very long. But let me start off by telling you my first memory of coming here. In fact, I was sitting right there in that seat, in probably these same clothes. I always coming from work, right? So it always looks like this. Anyways, I was sitting there, and then I came in the room, and at first I was amazed that everything is so set up. The projector was on, the lights are on, the AC is on, everything. I was quite impressed. Because normally you go somewhere at time and everyone's just chilling around. They'll stay over something. Please have a seat, relax, this and that. But everything was up to par. And week after week, month after month, and I'm sure year after year, this has been a trend here. Yeah. It's always set up and things are working. And I also think there's a lot of work that's going on in the background, which you might not see. Making the agendas, assigning the projects online, approving the projects that people complete, preparing the gifts, and all these other things that are going on behind the scenes. And for that, if you're just a regular guest who just shows up, packs his bag, and then goes away, you kind of forget that these things are happening. Next thing to talk about is the people here. There's an extremely diverse group of people here. Careers that I can just, by looking around the room, I can recite here. Content creators, accountants, students, entrepreneurs, volunteers, engineers. And that's only from me sitting there in the past half an hour that I just wrote these down. So the diversity here is immense. And you look around, there's some very bright people here. And what's uniting everyone is how motivated they are. How motivated they are to improve themselves. Some of you are already great, and you're all trying to get even better. Respect for that, for those who are there. It's also a very, very friendly bunch of people, which I'm sure I have come to know, and I'm sure everyone here has come to know as well. Everyone here is trying to help each other out. There's no one trying to get in your way or, let me cancel you. None of that is happening here. And it's great. It will stay like that. So 995 meetings. Where do we go from here? 995 more.
Yes.
Yeah.
To the outgoing exco, thank you all for your service. To the incoming exco, speaking on behalf of fellow members, I can't wait to see where you'll be taking us. And other members, please stay put. The ride only gets better from here.
Thank you, Toastmaster Vishan. Our next speaker is Toastmaster.
One more reading to do.
Yes.
So
Two social speeches. Yes.
Sir, sorry. Yeah, 2 social speeches.
So I'm just gonna.
So we continue our trend. PTM Sarfaraz.
Okay.
Who born in Quetta and lives in our hearts? The majestic magician knows many arts. A bearded guy, a young Dumbledore. Text him anytime, he will open his door. The honest pal and master of all, when he is around, no one can fall. The cogent fellow, with his honest opinion, stretch his hand to uplift his companion. The master speaker and mentor to many.
Yeah.
Is there any person who didn't get help? Any?
Oh.
The syntax king who plays with the words uses descriptive language as a sharp sword. With humor, which he occasionally used, ensures that no heart will be bruised. He has another persona of a science geek. He astounds us every second week. The leader of the leaders and a guardian soul represented us across the poles. With the effort he made, no one compensates. A restless spirit, never abate. We wish to become a district one day. He is the energy and the hope that charges us every day. That friend, mentor, and a dedicated Toastmaster is none other than DTM. Very unfair for me to do that, but I look forward to more speeches in the time that come. And thank you, sir, for opening this door at the first day. I owe you for that. Thank you.
Toastmaster Zishan Aziz, please tell us the objectives of Toastmaster Rabia Zishan's speech.
Okay.
I'm back again. So the purpose of this speech, which Toastmaster Ravi will be giving, is for the member to practice writing and delivering a speech that inspires others. I have seen her speak in front of 150 people. No, more than 150 that day.
Yes.
However many there were, everyone was inspired. And everyone that was speaking that day, very inspiring. Even though their title were not inspirers per se, you did a good job, and I'm sure you'll do a good job today. The purpose of the speech, again, is just to inspire the audience, and I think safe to say you've kind of already done that.
Yeah. It's 5 to 7.
Yes. And most probably going to go
Slideshow.
Just, yes.
I think so. No, I didn't talk about. Today should have been called the avalanche of presentations.
Yes. And it's a surprise for you all, and especially for DTF Salva. I will not be talking about TCF.
Oh yeah.
I try to bring it somewhere in
No,
between.
you will manage to bring it in.
Ah,
Yeah.
I'll try to, but still.
I don't trust those promises. Have been bitten too many times.
Maybe these goats belongs to TCF.
Yeah. Now. Yeah.
It will take a little
Out
bit
of
time.
3 pieces of technology, only 2 are supposed to work at a time.
Okay, so I'll start to inspire you once again. Votes for water, and I was not being fallible. That's what I really meant. Votes for water. Before I joined my volunteer organization, the TCF, I started my philosophy work with help building a water well in the very remote area of Thar called Kitar Gaon, where there is no access of roads and no machinery could go over there to make the hand pump, which we usually make by drilling a hole, and all that huge machinery is used. So this pump was made by people who used to dig the well with their hands. So like the old times. That is when I came to know about the condition in detail. Everyone knows that there is water problem in Thar and Sindh, and we all know that, but we don't really go into the details of it. But that is when I actually came to know about the details. This is the method which is sadly still being used in most areas of Sindh and Thar. where people use these bells and these handmade shafts from tree trunks, and they have a rope with a bucket at the end of it from which they pull the water up. And who is the most affected by these? The women and the children. As you can see in this picture, the women have to pull buckets of water from the well with their hands or with the help of a donkey or a camel, and they have to fill their pots, and then they carry it on their heads, and they walk for miles and miles. This activity takes at least 4 to 6 hours or maybe even more of their daily routine. So they do not have time for anything else except just this water is for drinking, for cooking, for washing. They do not have access to any water. So this is the way water is taken from the well to their houses. You can see as well, they are very strong. These ladies are very strong, and they are the one who are responsible for providing water. Even the children over there, why do not most of these children go to schools? Because they need more people to carry the water so that more people can use it. Even if they have to give it to their goats and their herds, because that is how they generate their income, by rearing the goats and the camel livestock. They need water, and even that is taken by children, women and children, and these children do not go to school. Next time you open the tap, I think you'll be a little bit more careful, and you will be more, even when you are leaving the water. Now I think most of the people who go back with me from beach luxury to home understand why I take that even half glass of water in the bottle when I go from beach luxury over there. I was deeply saddened by this, and I really wanted to do something about it, but it's a huge problem and I cannot do it alone. I did make one mail, and it's been running from now like almost 4 years, but that was not a constant solution. So I started searching the Google, the internet, on who are making an impact in the world. And I came to know about this amazing lady, Farial Salahuddin. She's shaping your future by trading goats for water. And I was confused. What is she saying? Goats for water? Maybe it's a mistake, a grammatical mistake or something, and I couldn't understand. So I connected with her. And this is what she had to tell me.
Is it a video?
Yes. Do I press it once again?
Just give me a second. If there's no video controls.
Yes.
Okay.
But do we have the speakers connected with it? Okay, so then in this video, she's explaining that they use the barter system of animals to directly buy the animals from the villagers, directly from the village, and then in return for that, they provide them solar water solutions, solar home solutions, or now they have increased to fertilizers and other stuff they need for their daily life. So there is no in between person. It's directly from the villagers who have these cows and goats and camels and donkeys and other livestock. We buy it from them. Farial Salahuddin, the goats for water upgrade company, she buys it from them, and then she brings it here and sells it to us on Eid days. And now she has also started the mini chain. And she has really impacted the life because she installed water pumps, solar water pumps, which reduced the time the women spent in carrying the water and pulling it up to a very few. And now these women have time to do other things rather to just think about water. And they have their leisure time as well. They give more time to their children. The children are going to schools. Farial Salahuddin says that she wants to use goats as coins. So you have heard about Bitcoins. She terms her model as goat coins. And that is really very amazing. And she has now upgraded it to solar home solutions as well. But the best thing, the best model which I like, the best things which I want you all to try as well is the gift a goat. Gift not a note, but a goat. Whenever we do charity, we want to do one-time charity and we are done with it. We never think of it to make it sustainable. If you gift a goat to one of these families, they will have a sustainable income every month. So if you want to do sadaqah or charity or zakat, or you want to give even in your Bakra, you can give a herd of goat or a single goat, and in this way you will enable and transform life of these people. So a family who was earning nothing at all will now have a herd of goats, and it will provide them with milk, it will provide them a solution, and that herd of goats will continue, and inshallah, in few years they'll be able to earn their own income and won't be needing any charity from us. So this is something which I really loved. She got the first place in the Cartier Women's Award in the world, and she also had TED Talk this year. And she said, we are so proud to have been able to create a system that truly enables vulnerable communities to sustain themselves and create a lasting social impact in Pakistan today. So I urge you all to do charity in a sustainable manner. Think about it.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rabia Zishan. Our next speaker is Toastmaster Shakiruddin. Evaluating his speech, please welcome Toastmaster Wasay Ahmed.
Good evening, everyone. Today, my target speaker is really the competent speaker. We have seen his beginning. We have seen how he has developed himself through all his speeches, step by step. So, today, Toastmaster Shakiruddin will be presenting from Pathway Presentation Mastery. The speech title is What Makes a Big Difference? Time of this speech is 5 to 7 minutes, and I know that this speech will make a difference.
Thank you, Asif. What makes a big difference? Well, it's a question for all of you. Also for me, there are so many answers. A great leader said, I'm not showing his name, but he said that little things or your little attitude makes a big difference. I'm not showing his name because I don't agree. Why I don't agree? Your attitude makes a big difference. It's right. But he said that your little attitude is a little thing which makes a big difference. There are so many big leaders, and they said many things about attitudes. Einstein said, your small attitude or your lower attitude makes your character low. Your big attitude makes your character big. Well, I agree with this. Attitude makes our character. What is the difference between character? Character is also your continuous attitude with the passage of time, with the people, makes your character. Okay. We'll discuss further. I spent a lot of time, almost 17 years, in a big conglomerate, big multinational company, and I faced two bosses, two business heads. My first boss was calm, quiet. He's a benevolent leader, and he takes their staff and he makes the team, and he also developed the business. And he also developed business, and he is very good with his team too. But after some time, with the passage of time, he retires, and then another boss came, and that boss was very active, and his 180-degree different from him. He's very quick, he's very sharp, he's very intelligent. And first boss make the business to this level, and that boss, another boss make the business to 10 times or 8 times or 10 times more. But the second one, as I said, he was very intelligent and smart. And he makes the difference in the business. But he was also very commendable, and he gives the remarks to his teams, to his team member, his colleagues, his subordinates, because he's very fast. So he expected that team is also going very fast with him. But you know, everyone is not same. Team is different, the boss is different. Time passes, and their boss was also retired. Now the team left behind the organization. Company is running good, and people are commenting among them that this boss was there. And but I found that most of them commenting about the first boss, that he is very good. Why? Again, the attitude. So attitude makes a big difference. So attitude is not a small thing. If I ask with you people, how many of you know about your school teachers or college teachers? And why you remember those teachers? Because you remember 2 types of teachers. Those who love you, who cared you, and those who cares for you, and those who always promote you, those who pamper you. And you also remember those teachers who always stick with you, who beat you or who give remarks to you. So then what is this? This is again an attitude. So attitude, what I think, the attitude is the main. It also builds your character, and it also destroy your character and destroy your image. I want to say you one thing. In our life, everything has a price. If you want to buy something, price, value. If you want to buy something, I want to buy a shirt. If you want to buy a perfume or anything, you have to pay the price at shop. But in the case of relationship, what is the price? Time. You also have to give a price. In relationships, you have to sometimes make yourself backward, like this. You have to bear comments from others. You don't always be enforced your feelings, your mental things, and your emotions to them. You have to cooperate with them. You have to change your attitude. And if you are able to change your attitude, you can take the lead. Otherwise, you can't take the lead. You can be a rich person by your efforts, by your intelligence, by your hard working, but you cannot take people with you without your attitude. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Our next speaker is DTM Saad Shoaib. He is completing his project from the Presentation Mastery Pathway, Level 1, Writing a Speech with Purpose. The speech is 5 to 7 minutes. DTM Saad Shoaib, it's not about how it starts, it's about how it ends. It's not about how it starts, it's about how it ends. DTM Saad Shoaib, who is presenting a speech that has a purpose. Please welcome DTM Saad Shoaib.
Once again.
Fellow Toastmasters and not Toastmasters. You can see what just happened there. I was throughout the time I was totally fallible. But that was a perfect illustration of what my life was between the year 2007 to the year 2012. Or yes, no, till the year 2014. What happened during those years? Well, like I've said over and over, but no. I actually haven't because that was my first icebreaker and most of you weren't there. So like I said, during my first icebreaker that I was the first child of the house, and like always, the first child of the house is usually very much pampered. So I was an extreme, you can say, a person who had no idea of the world, how the world works, how to make friends, and that actually put me further and further and further and further down the abyss. That I have no purpose in life of what I'm going to do. No friends, no activity, no social life, nothing. But then, like most of you, or maybe not, know that I actually went to a cadet college, which is a hostel where you live for 3 years, and it's completely hectic. You just wake up early, you go to bed early, a tough routine. But what I actually did was, it gave me the independence to do the thing by my own self, and not to be dependent on the parents or the people around me. But when I still needed friends, of course, we all do. Maybe one person doesn't, but yeah, we all do. And then something happened. Something happened was when I was in my cadet college, the thing they actually had a speech contest. A speech contest in 2009, which was my first speech contest over there. So I said, okay, why not just take part? And that went awful. That went totally awful because back then, of course, I also had a stammer, and that also played a part in the process. But what actually happened there was, I was like the Ando me Kara Raja. The people who were actually against me were even lesser confident than me. And then wow, the principal said that this guy is the winner. I was like, really? Did that happen really? So that showed me the path, and then when I was in my first year,
once again, I actually took part in a contest. I won again, and then also in my bachelor, I took part and I won. What did that tell me? Of what happened between 2000 and 2005 to 2012? The answer is absolutely nothing. But what actually happened was the mindset. My mindset was from going down to the abyss. I was like, I can do it. That's very much possible. And what actually changed was, when I was shown this before 2012, I would have said this is a glass half empty. But then after that, after I got nice remarks after remarks, I said, no, this is a glass half full. So, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, your mindset makes you what you are and what you will do. Like when I joined Toastmasters, I remember people said in this room mostly, they said that when I'm speaking, I should get 1 minute extra. But I said, if that was the case, why would I be here? But before I let them be right, it's over to you, Toastmasters.
Our next speaker is Toastmaster Nohar Riaz. Is she available and ready? Evaluating her speech, please welcome Toastmaster Imran Rana.
Hello Toastmasters and guests. Today Toastmaster Nohar Riaz will going to deliver his speech from motivational strategy. Pathway is motivational strategy and the project objectives are just a minute. Okay, do we have Toastmaster Nohar? Yes, she is. The purpose statement of this project is for the member to practice using a story within a speech or giving a speech that is a story. Time duration is 5 to 7 minutes. Toastmaster Noha belongs to Sri Lanka. She's a Toastmaster, and along with Toastmaster, she's a crafter, multi-talenter, as she is a basketball player, a blogger, a YouTuber, and a graphic designer. So let's welcome Master Noharia. The speech title is "Do It For You, Not For Them."
Sir, excuse me, how can I realize the timer cards? How can I see the timer cards?
Yeah, you just pin the timer window.
Yes.
The window is called Karachi Toastmasters Club. Just make sure it's pinned. And I'm also raising my hand so that it remains pinned. Can you see it?
Yes, thank you so much. Okay. Okay, I'm gonna start.
Yeah, sure.
Don't stop. Don't never give up on yourself, even if you are slow. Is the agony days stopping you from bring off? Very simple question I like to ask from you all. Raise your hand if you do really to yourself. Do you really being yourself? Raise up. Thank you. Whatever you do, you are doing for yourself. Fellow Toastmasters, and good evening, my dear delegates. Most of us have the darkest day in our lives. You may lost. You may need to face many obstacles. You may hate yourself. You may end up with dying. Yes, but it's okay. Don't live your life for others. Be yourself and do it for you. Don't be afraid of being different. Be afraid of being same as everyone else. All of us have something beautiful, unique, that makes special in our lives. So tell me, what makes you feel and special in your life? Let me share integrating story to you all. I have two sisters, one an elder and one a younger sister, but they were close each other. They're sharing everything, but not with me. After going to school, there were many friends which I met in my school. Even though I didn't find anyone to share my thoughts, feelings, I didn't chance to share my single word among them. That was my very difficult days in my life. So decided to disappear from this world. I was super disappointed from my life. I started to hurt myself. Later, because of I can't tolerate this anymore, I decided to end up my life. But one fine day, while I was ready to stay in my darkest day, I heard a very scary voice coming from the attic, and I followed the voice. However, I led her to the end of the attic, and there I found my dead cousin's diary, Maria. When I opened that diary, the voice started to speak up clearly. Nuha, I have never met such a strong and brilliant girl like you. I died of the loneliness. I was such a mess. I was so stupid that I decided to leave this world. I regret that decision over my life. I was covered. I was selfish. But this time I'm not gonna let that same thing happen again. Nuha, ask yourself why you are here, why you are born, why we are born. What are the things need to be done from us? If you're still living, if you're still alive, then there is a reason to that. There's something need to tell to the world. Wake up, Nuha. You maybe feel so lonely, but remember, you is enough for yourself. No matter what always listen to your heart and obey your heart. Be bold. You are power. You are unique. Be strong, my girl. Don't tell anyone to take. Don't let anyone to take advantage of your life. I wish you all the very best and keep pushing yourself when you're down. After that voice disappeared. But I was so confused and scared. I told myself it must be a dream. It's not true. Even though my inner guts tells me to listen to that voice. So that day, I decided to be very strong. I came forward without stepping back. I changed myself into brave and unstoppable girl and started to challenge myself. My fellow challengers, don't eat the dead things. Eat only by killing yourself. What I meant is, do not rely on the past. Keep looking for new furnitures to conquer. Leave the past where it belongs in the past. We may have had our darkest day in our life for the last few days. We have struggled with dealing people who bring us down. But still, if you're thinking about that past and staying down, it's wrong. Get up, learn from your past. And even if you fall again, learn a lesson from that and use your failure as a key. So my dear self-motivators, do only what you do. Keep a vision of your goal and don't do it for other people. Do it for you, only for you. Be self-confident and believe in yourself. It will help you to be happy and successful person. So just be faithful to yourself. Love yourself. What's your opinion on this? Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you, Toastmaster Noha. That concludes our prepared speeches segment, 10 speeches. You'll be pleased to know that we are only 47 minutes behind schedule. We now move into our next and final segment, the general evaluation. Please welcome our Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan. In 2 days, she'll be taking on a new role. Toastmaster Hiba Rais Khan, our club's joke master. Toastmaster Hiba.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Toastmaster of the day. Okay, fellow Toastmasters and guests, general evaluation is an important part of Toastmasters. Without evaluation, one cannot hope to become a good speaker. And usually general evaluation comprises of 3 parts, the prepared speech evaluation, the table topic evaluation, and the report from the facilitators. But in this, since it's a speakathon, we'll have 2 parts only. So for the first part would be of the prepared speech session, and I'll have TM Ali Zargam's evaluator on the beach luxury floor evaluating. So that is TM Shamam. Sorry, TM Shamam. Can I have your evaluation? Sorry, she's online. I forgot.
Am I audible and visible?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm trying a new thing today, so my time starts now, right? Thank you, General Evaluator. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Hiba, Toastmaster Ali Zargam. Myself being a social scientist, I'm so obliged to you for researching and presenting and your speech on a much needed topic in the era of restlessness and recklessness. Toastmaster Zargam gave us some pertinent information, particularly around what is urgent and what is important. And he also, that was much required in existing social settings for our mental health and well-being. So thank you for leading us to a meaningful life. Now, as an evaluator, I found that Toastmasters Argam has successfully met the purpose of his speech. That was a well-researched and well-organized speech. Now, when talking about the well-researched speech, he used the time management metrics by Stephen Covey. He provided acknowledgement and reference not only on the visuals on the screen, he also did it verbally, which is a significant aspect when we are presenting a research. Now, when we come to well-organized, I appreciate the connectedness with the speech title and his content. He started with a few questions on the visuals and finished the whatever text was on the slides. What I missed here was actually a powerful opening and a distinct conclusion. I also missed seeing the usefulness of the pauses. And I can understand that that could be mainly due to his eyeing the text on the wall or the screen and not being able to quickly go through it. So for this, I have two recommendations. Be more interactive. You could have used the questions on the visuals in being direct interaction with your audiences. That could have given a good start of this speech, engaging everyone and keeping us alert of what is coming up. So maybe you can start with the questions. You did start the slide, but you can start with asking it with the audience for direct interaction. Secondly, have minimal text on the visuals and use more power and enthusiasm in your physical gestures. You know, when you are putting a lot of stuff on the slides, everyone is looking there and you go down. So keeping the limelight on you and drawing all the attention, you have to promote yourself and be enthusiastic in whatever you are saying. So overall, Toastmasters Argam was excelled at researching and fulfilling research requirements. You may want to work on an engaging delivery, considering distinct and powerful opening and conclusions, and to challenge yourselves, work on physical gestures. Overall, congratulations for daring to be among the avalanche of awesomeness. And I would love to keep hearing more from you on social issues. Over to you, General Evaluator.
Next, we have TM Naveed Aslam. I'll call upon his evaluator, TM Rabia Tabassum, to give her side of the evaluation.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster Karachi. Today, Toastmaster Naveed, the project required him to give a speech, an informative speech, and then conduct a question-answer session. We were supposed to ask the question. Toastmaster Naveed, he wasn't supposed to ask us questions. Toastmaster Naveed, you adhered to the purpose of the project, and you did it very well. You gave an informative speech. You had amazing clarity throughout your speech. You used your hand gestures very well today, and they were according to the matter of your speech. So you were, and you chose a topic which we could connect easily. So you were well aware of the audience you were speaking to, and it was a topic which everyone nowadays could relate to easily. So kudos on choosing a topic which everyone could relate to, and you had ample knowledge about this topic as well. So when it came to the question answers part, you took your time, you were well aware of all the questions, and you gave a detailed answer to them, and you could relate to the questions as well. So it was not like just you had written the speech and that's it, and you do not know anything else about it. So you had done your research, you had all the details about that topic, and you were able to answer all the questions as well. So congratulations on fulfilling the purpose of your project. A few things which I would like to recommend you. There were too many numbers and figures in your speeches. So they were like millions and then percentages, and so I got a bit lost about it. A nice, good idea would have been to use a presentation, which we had many today, but just so that those numbers could have been visible, not for the entire speech, but only for the numbers, because people have a hard time remembering, people especially like me. So I was a little bit getting confused because there was not only one or two numbers. After every few minutes, you came up with something, a percentage or some numbers, and that was confusing. So overall, you did an amazing session. You were well aware of the topic you chose. Audience were related to it. You knew about the topic, and that is how you were able to answer the questions which were asked at the end of it. You also managed to keep it in the time frame, and that was also one of the purpose of the project, and you fulfilled it. That you gave enough time to the speech as well as you left enough time for at the end for the question and answer session. So congratulations on fulfilling the purpose of the project. Back to you, General Evaluation.
The next speaker was TM Anam Kadri, and I call upon our evaluator, TM Fahim Razak, to give his side of the evaluation.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, TM Karachi. You see, Oxford Dictionary has a definition of fallible as something being wrong or you making mistakes. If it had, except some people, that would include TM Anam Kadri, beside DTM Tala, of course. You see, the purpose of the project was present a well-researched topic and then present it to the audience. Well, even if the artist was himself here, he couldn't have done it any better. So congratulations to you. What an excellent storytelling way to describe your project. We could completely relate to it. I could easily immerse myself in June 1882, where you started your story from, that's where the artist kind of came into his project, and where he was based, in which cell he was being present into, and in which side of the building on the east side. It was a well-crafted project. So well done once again. TM Shamam, in her evaluation, said, I miss seeing the meaningful pauses in Ali Zargan's speech. Let me tell you here, there were purposeful, meaningful pauses throughout your speech. You just knew where to pause. And I think that's the art that every speaker is out to learn. And I've got a long way to go, and I should learn from you. So once again, well done on that. Your facts and figures were all relevant. You just knew what the audience will probably like and would relate to. And I think it's hard enough to present a well-researched project, but then, and that just fulfills your purpose of the speech. But then at the same time, take the opportunity to hammer a really important message home, which was obviously, if you think something is incomplete, if you think you are incomplete, if you think you're not good enough, that doesn't mean the world sees you in that way. You hammered that message home, so well done. Now, in terms of improvement, you see Toastmasters says, for Guidio, you should come up with some improvements. In this case, I would be really hard pressed to come up with any. So I'm just going to come up with something that I'm making it up. One is, why didn't you use the word fallible? Huh? And secondly, why didn't you tell us where you and DTM Talha parked your spaceship? So we would really love to know, and come and please take us some time, please. Thank you. And over to you.
Next, we move on to DTM Sarfaraz Nazir, and I call upon his evaluator, TM Ali Ashar Anjum, to give his side of the evaluation.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator Toastmaster. Toastmaster, today I just deciphered that why Nasreen, Parveen, and Diana are always around DDM Sarfaraz. The reason is because he is very good with dates. He always remembers every day. So, DDM Sarfaraz, whenever we are going to listen to you, you always inspire us. And especially when it was a reflection on the pathway. Your storytelling, your reflection was also like that. We all are reflecting towards your journey. Thereby, they have a connection with you, and that is just experience and your learning conviction. So some points that you have completed 6 to 7 pathway in a single year, and that is a commendable thing. Then you also share your melancholy about the CC manual and the pathways, and what you did. You did okay. Pathway is not that good as CC manual. So what you do? Let's do the pathway because it's easier than that. And you just doing those things in a very great manner. Then you just named many Toastmasters, including me, the wounded soldier, and how it's helped all of us to connect with your speech. And it's give a good the things. The lesson I learned from your reflection was pathway is not about just achievement. It is about a pathway. That what factors made you achieve those the pathway, those people, those learnings, and overall your speech was amazing. That's all from my side. Over to the general evaluator.
Next, we have TM Ali Ashar Anjum again. Please, can we have you on the floor? TM Ali Ashar Anjum, that was he was the speaker. We have TM Ghulam Qadir as its evaluator. So may I call upon? That was so sorry.
General evaluator. So DTM Ali Ashar, you started off with an excellent background. You started off from where you started your journey. And literally, it took me back to January 2020, where you were sitting right next to me on my left hand side. And then you were called for a table topic. And that was my icebreaker on that day. And yours was the first table topic. So amazing background. You took us in past and everything was very well explained. It was just like a story and a kind of a picturization which we could do, which we could easily imagine in front of us. So the story, how you started a journey, the story in which you lost the scholarship of masters. And the most important thing, which I want to tell each and everyone who's sitting over here and those who are online, the stammering part of Ali Ashar. Amazing journey. And I and everyone who's with us as a Toastmasters in January 2020 is a complete witness to it. The way he used to stammer, and now the way he delivers his speeches with hardly any stammering, So can give you a good salute to you. All marks to you for that. A complete story of determination and how things can be overcome, and the weakness which you had now has turned into a strength. That's what we all need to learn from DTM Ali Sharan. Yes, a little bit of area of improvement in this project was that we should have spoken more about the projects, right, which was missing. Maybe the background was so lengthy that you had to skip that part. And the last thing which I noticed was the stage movements. That could have been more purposeful rather than standing at one position. So thank you very much.
Now we have PM Mishan Aziz as the next speaker. So I'll call upon his evaluator DTM Talha bin Hamid to give the evaluation.
Thank you so much. This is not fair. But anyhow, I'll try my best. Toastmaster Mishan Aziz, first of all, very imaginative speech title, 995. Really, really good technique to name your speech. Although to us it was perfectly clear what it was, but even then, very innovative speech title. You had a very absorbing start, and you made some beautiful connections throughout your speech. Today, I would say that your expression and your connectedness, your sincerity was much greater than your usual speeches, which is a good thing. You showed some good vocal variety in expressions within a certain range. And of course, you had superb humor peppered throughout, for example. Some of you are already great. A backhanded compliment if I ever saw one. That was superbly done, and you always do that, Toastmaster Mishan. Yes. You never spare us, but we can't mind because you did it. You do it from so high up, and you do it so well. I could detect only one improvement area in your speech, and that was a lack of amplification in your gestures, voice, and tone. You tend to operate within a range, and within that range, you display all those attributes. But that range itself sometimes becomes too inhibited versus what is required for a Toastmaster speech. Now, I am the last one to advocate the typical Toastmaster style of everyone doing cartwheels and a circus on stage. So, I don't do that. I can't do that. And I don't advocate anyone to do that. But you can gradually increase it so that you can grow into a greater amplification of expression. That is the only improvement area. So overall, you achieved the project purpose spectacularly in terms of delivering your social speech. It was a perfect ode to Karachi Toastmasters Club. And you displayed humor, you displayed sincerity. Even though I said that you lacked a bit of amplification, nowhere did we ever doubt your sincerity and your connectedness to the subject. And you displayed your usual brand of humor, which is superb. So all of those were present. And just as an improvement area, try to break out and try throwing caution to the wind once in a while and see what happens. Trust me, you will not fail. So with that, I hand over the charge back to the General Manager. Thank you so much.
And next we had TM Rabia Tabassum Zishan. I call upon her evaluator TM Mishan Aziz to give his side of the evaluation.
Hi everyone. Toastmaster Rabia, she said she wouldn't talk about TCF, but her first sentence. I knew that was going to happen at some point, but I was waiting to see when, and it was in the first sentence. Your speech was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and I learned something very new, which I was, I would say, ignorant to before. I didn't know the situation is that bad, and it's great that people are taking such initiatives. Actually, I even wrote her name down. I want to do my own research about her. It was very, very nice. I like how you brought up the topic
And then you showed that slide about every drop counts. It really resonated with everyone. I think there was no better way. If you had shown that before, the message would not have been as powerful as after you talked about this. I thought that was really good. And knowing that you're very good at this stuff, the way you adapted when it didn't play the audio, I guess you just went with it. And when I was sitting there and I was watching the video, I can't imagine the video being any better than the way you described it. Like, I think it was whatever you were saying was happening in the video. Maybe you memorized it. I don't know, but it was very, very smooth. Again, the topic you chose, I know it's something you feel passionate about, and everyone can feel that in the group. Being a volunteer for TCF as well, it radiates from you. So even this thing, it radiates from you. And again, very good initiative. If I could say any improvement, it would be a challenge, to be honest. But you were copying me and staying in one place the whole time. If you're copying me, I'm flattered, but there's stuff to work on. But other than that, I can't say really. I looked at the evaluation sheet and I just wanted to just keep taking. It was well done, and looking forward to the next one.
Now, the next speaker was TM Shakiluddin. So I would call upon his evaluator, TM Wase Ahmed, to give his side of the evaluation.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Toastmaster Shakiluddin. Toastmaster Shakiluddin. What makes the difference? Your speech today did make a difference from your previous speeches. You know, because I do understand that your focus from here to everywhere makes a difference. I understand that your arms from here to here makes a huge difference, and that we all watched today. When I was evaluating, I was thinking that I should go from the starting, you know, how you started this speech, how you built on the body, and how you concluded. But I realized it was more than that today. There were strong points. You know, your hand gestures today were on point. I saw your hands moving from here to here, both arms opening, you moving around. Those comfortableness, that comfortableness you had from moving in the stage, that was a huge improvement that we didn't saw before. Your content of speech, your content of speech was in layman's language, and everyone sitting here could connect to it, and that's the most important thing. And there was one really a hilarious part, but you know, that was what we say that engages the audience. When you asked us, remember about your teachers? Trust me, I remembered all my teachers that I could, you know, recall at that time. That hard one also and that soft one also. And they, all those teachers really played an important part of today who I am and of today who everyone sitting here today is. So that was a really good thing. But again, we all are possible speakers. What on the improvement side, I would say what I saw in your posture was that this leg was stuck over here, and you were like moving this. I would say that stand like this. You know, use your both legs and stand firmly. Be affirmed and be, be determined of what you speak. Be confident about that. And one more thing I would say was your vocal variety. That could be improved and make it like to make your speech more dramatic and to hook your audience. That's from my side. Thank you.
Okay. The last speaker was TM Noha Reyes, and I call upon her evaluator, TM Imran Rana, to give his side of the evaluation.
Does DTM Prasad have an evaluation?
Sorry?
She has listed.
No, we have one more evaluation, that is we will DTM Sastry speech, and that will be evaluated by DTM Sarfraz. If you want me to deliver my evaluation first, or if you want
Yes, you can. Okay. Sorry, before that, okay. DTM Sastry, because no one read out his objectives of the speech. Okay, so sorry, everyone.
So that's
I
okay.
call upon.
Toastmaster Imran can go since he's ready. Then I'll go after him.
Okay, so TM Imran, you go first.
Thank you so much, General Evaluator, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, Toastmaster Noha Riaz delivered a powerful speech coupled with powerful body language and with a powerful conclusion. Do it for you, not for others. You started off with a question and give pause to get the responses from the audience, and that's the best way to grab the attentions of the audience. And then you brought your personal story and amazingly achieved the objectives of the objectives of the speech, that is a story within the speech, and add a little humor in your speech about the stories of your sister and two sisters, those who don't share things with you. That was quite humorous. And during your speech, you uses some powerful statements, or what we can say, motivational statements like believe in yourself, don't listen to that voices, and don't live in the past. So it was felt like a motivational speaker is just delivering a speech. So that was quite amazing. Your body language was perfectly aligned, and it was perfectly flow with your speech, and you uses the stage quite well. Throughout your speech, you are quite vocal. What if you brought some vocal variety? You brought some lowered your voice so that it could give a great impact in your speech. Throughout your speech, you were quite powerful. Your vocal variety was quite powerful. So what you can do, you can bring it down a little bit so that it gives a little bit variation in your speech. I found that throughout your speech, you were perfectly confident. And what if you could have bring some more humor in your speech, so that despite it was quite motivational speech and quite inspiring, with addition of a humor that would create a good impact. So overall, I thoroughly enjoyed your speech. It was a power-packed speech delivered by Toastmaster Noha. So congratulations on completing the objectives, fulfilling the objectives of the speech. Looking forward to some more amazing and wonderful speech from you, from your side. Over to you, General Evaluator.
And now I call upon the last speaker's evaluator, DTM, that is DTM Saad Shoaib's evaluator, DTM Sarfaraz Nazeer, to give his side of the evaluation. Over to you.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator. Fellow Toastmasters, and especially you, DTM Saad Shoaib. When I saw you holding a glass of water, I thought perhaps you were paying attention to another speech and you were going to use that water to exchange it for a goat. I'm going to tell you 3 things that I loved about your speech. And finally, a suggestion for improvement. the best thing about your speech delivery is your smile. Your smile lights up the room. At the start of the meeting, I said that more lighting is needed in the meeting room. I take back my words. More lighting is not needed in that room. All that room needs is DTM Saad Shoaib, and it lights up. The second thing I liked about your speech is that you sprinkled humor throughout your speech. For example, when you said the principal mentioned this guy is the winner, and your response was, oh, really? Everybody started laughing. I've noticed that in order to make Toastmasters in the room laugh, you don't even need humor. Just the way you deliver your speech, people start laughing. Your hand movements going down slowly, down, down, down. You're a natural humorist. The third thing I liked about your speech is your icebreaker. Even though this was a speech with a purpose, I learned something about you. For example, you mentioned that what happened between 2005 and 2012. Your response, nothing. During the month of March, I had the good fortune of spending a lot of time with you, and I learned a lot about you, about your kindness, about how dedicated Toastmaster you are. But today, I learned a little bit more about you when you brought up a glass half full of water, and you said that most people see it as half full, and your philosophy in life has changed. You see it as not as half empty, but as half full. I liked your speech because you had a lovely smile, your humor, and sharing some personal tidbits about yourself. How can you improve? Your speech was supposed to have a purpose, a speech purpose statement, a thesis, but I did not see that clearly. So next time, maybe at the beginning, mention what it is. Finally, some people may have a glass half full, but when it comes to you, DTM Saab Shoaib, the glass is always, always full. Back to you, Madam General Evaluator.
Now it's the time for the facilitators report. So first I will be calling the grammarian. So TM Fahim Razak, can I have your report? As well as the word master for the word master.
Yes, sure. Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, Team Himara Islam. So I will first do the word of the day report. And word of the day was, of course, fallible. I'm just going to say who used it. So Ali Ashar Anjum 3 times. DTM Sir Sarfraz once. TM Rabiaz Zishan once. TM Naveed Aslam once. TM Wasi Ahmed once. And DTM Saad Shoaib once. If I've missed out anyone, please do let me know. Because I did have to make 3 visits to the toilet. It was so full. I had to come back and go. So I might have missed some. All right, back to the grammarian now. So I've noted not so good use of the grammar. And by default, if I've not mentioned you, that means your use good. Well, I wouldn't mention you, I would just say it, and then you would have this. Let's divide these works into quadrants. I think it would have been better to say, let's divide these activities into quadrants, which is almost 2 times. You could have said twice the previous level. The first I meet, it was a past sentence. So you should have said the first time I met. I get that confidence. Again, it was a past tense. You should have said I got that confidence. He suggests me and advised me. It was again the past context. You should have said he suggested and advised me. I was inducted, which made me who am I today? Which made me who I am today. I started searching the Google, I started searching on Google. Bring the business to this level. I think there was some sort of hand gestures. Bring the business to this level. Those who would not be able to see your gestures, I think you should have said, bring the business to great heights or to lower heights or to lower level or whatever it was. Everyone is not same. I think would have been better worded, everyone is different to have more impact in the sentence. It also destroys. I have two sisters. Plural, just a very minor thing. I have two sisters. Audience were related. Audience could relate. We didn't saw before. We didn't see previously, perhaps. That is it. Back to you, PM Ibarais.
And now for the timers report. So DTM Talha bin Ahmed, can I have your report?
All right, thank you so much. In the interest of time, I would just say that all the speakers were qualified and all the evaluators were qualified as well. Although paradoxically, the meeting itself is disqualified by quite a bit of part. I've seen some very imaginative tall tales, but today's agenda and its timing takes the cake in terms of timing for the prepared speeches contest. But at the same time, I must comment that the speeches themselves and the transition were well within the designated time. So that is the report. Over to you.
And now for the R counter. So TM Noha, can I have your report?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, Toastmasters and future Toastmasters. Good evening. I'm Nuhariya, yes, as an accountant today. My report is Toastmaster Ali has used 2 hours and 2 souls. Toastmaster Sarfaraz has used 3 hours, 2 and 3 pauses, short pauses, and misrepeated word you. Toastmaster Anand has used 2 hours, 3 Distinguished Toastmaster Ali has used 8 hours, 3 and misrepeated word and that you the. Toastmaster Vaishnav Sarai apologized that power cut, and Toastmaster Rabia has used 9 hours, 3 1 so and misrepeated word because, and Distinguished Toastmaster Ali has used 3 hours and Toastmaster Fahim has used 5 hours and 4 and misrepeated word and I to be fell I. Distinguished Toastmaster Talha has used 3 hours, 1 and misrepeated word but we and. Toastmaster Vaishnav has used 8 hours and 2 and misrepeated word and. Toastmaster Vese has used 5 hours and 2 souls, misrepeated word you and were. So Toastmaster Naveed apologized that my current issues for me. Toastmaster Nuha myself has used more than 6 hours for now and 2 souls. Toastmaster Imran has used 8 hours and 4 and misrepeated word it would be. Toastmaster Shaman has used 6 hours, 2 and misrepeated word I with the. General evaluator Toastmaster Hiba has used 10 hours and 6 misrepeated word can that was, and Toastmaster Gulan has used 1 us and we could. Also to get out of him this filler words. How can you skip it? You can just do this steps, notice them and listen to yourself. You can record your speeches before you deliver in your meetings. So record that and count down how many words you have used. And number 2, pause, think and speak. I have noticed 2 or 3 speakers were pausing them without using filler words. Number 3, use short sentences and make it slow. That's all from me as a counter today. Over to you, General Evaluator, Toastmaster Hiba.
And now for the last report. So the listeners report, can I have TM Masih Ahmed delivering his report?
I want to share this fact with you. From the last 3 times when I was listener, I was getting best facilitator. But this time I have no chance. I am already gone. And my humble apologies from the beginning because I joined late. So if I missed someone, so apologies for that. Starting with, okay. Who gave the most honest feedback to DM Aliyasha? Medium Tala.
Thank you very much for that.
And one who pushed DTM Aliyasha a lot. I would say one who pushes everybody a lot. What was the title of impromptu speech that DTM Aliyasha gave? The Urdu impromptu.
मुझसे पहले की मोहब्बत.
Who answered it?
Who was it who answered it?
Anam.
Anam.
Oh.
Okay. What was the title of the speech of Toastmaster Vishal? First speech.
995.
995. Here was DTM Talabond.
Quetta.
Everyone
knows that.
Right.
Everyone knows that.
I didn't know that. That was new information for me. What was the village of? What was the name of that third village? Teacher, no? Yeah. Gift a goat for dash charity. For dash type of charity, I would say.
Sustainable.
Sustainable charity. Yeah. Who was CEO of Uptrade? Who is CEO of Uptrade?
Some lady.
During which period was Satchway fallable or fallable or whatever you want to say?
2005 to
2014.
2008 to 2014.
7 to 14. 7 to 12.
5 to 30.
No, you said 7 to 14.
7 to 14.
Okay.
I guess you should get sure first. Okay. We should be afraid of being like Toastmaster no areas. So we should be afraid of being like
Others.
No,
Everyone.
everyone.
Where did the Toastmaster no areas find the life-changing lesson of our life?
Diary of a cousin.
Yeah, diary of a cousin.
Dead cousin.
Yeah. Yeah. What makes a big difference?
Attitude.
Attitude makes a
Little
difference.
Letty.
Yeah.
Little Letty.
No. Good attitude. Yeah? There's a good attitude and there's a bad attitude. And a good attitude makes a big difference. And what was the quote of no? Which quote did you use? Whose quote did TM Shamsuddin use? TM Shamsuddin use.
Stephen. This one.
This one.
Stephen.
Stephen.
No. Einstein.
Einstein. Right. One more.
Okay.
One more. He really wants to win.
Of course you care. Of course I care. Who said this?
Saad.
Ali Zarna.
That's from my head. Thank you.
And now it's time for my part of the report. Overall, it was a good session which started around 6:45ish in the cool Karachi evening. There were no technical glitches or problems during the session, which was a plus for everyone. The speeches were quite informative with good practical topics. Overall, the session flowed smoothly and everything was spot on. One thing we can do is be more punctual about timings so that everything finishes on time. Over to the Toastmaster of the evening. You are muted, DTM Sarfaraz.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, for that fine general evaluation. I would now like to turn over the control of the meeting back to our club president, distinguished Toastmaster Talha bin Hamid.
All right. Thank you so much, DTM Sarfaraz. Now, I believe I've been told that, yeah.
Since it's a last meeting, so please bear with us.
Yeah. So, DDM Ali Ashar will present a special tribute. So, please put your hands together for DDM.
I guess
Now it's time to disclose everything.
so. I guess he last on Sunday. I was requested to write a.
You आगे वाली बात है।
असल बात बताओ।
So I wrote it. Born in Quetta and lives in our hearts. The majestic magician knows many arts. The bearded guy, a young Dumbledore. Text him anytime, will open his doors. The honest pale and master of all. When he is around, no one can fall. The cogent fellow with his honest opinion stretch his hand to uplift his campaigns. The master speaker and mentor to many. Is there any person who didn't get help? Any? The syntax king who plays with the word, use descriptive language as a sharp sword. With humor, which he occasionally used, ensures that no heart will be bruised. He has another persona of a science geek. He taunts us every second. The leader of leaders and a guardian soul represented us across the poles. With effort he made, no one compensates. The restless spirit never abates. We wish we became a district someday. He's the energy, the hope, and charge all of us every day. The friend, the mentor, and a dedicated Toastmaster, DTM Talha, is our 4-time distinguished Toastmaster.
Oh my God.
Should I open it?
No, he will open.
Okay.
PM Ali Ashar, please give him a tissue as well. He might need it.
Yes, you can. Thank you so much. For the Zoom audience, oh yeah. So most of you would recognize this picture. Thank you so much. So thank you so much, DTM Ali. And honestly, I feel overwhelmed all over again and a bit blindsided by all of this. But you know, whatever accolades were given belong to all of you actually. Belong to this club, not to a single person. And if you had hoped that I would cancel my plans of taking over as VP Education by doing all this, sadly you're mistaken. But jokes apart, I don't know what to say right now. Honestly, that was basically beautifully written. And even while Vishal was reading it, I somehow knew that it was you. And Toastmaster Vishal, you saw how it was delivered. This is what I was talking about. And I would like to make one small correction. I was not called in Quetta. Right now? Yeah.
That's what you always say.
No, I always say that Quetta is my hometown because I grew up there.
Oh, so where were you born?
Here.
Oh.
Yeah. But again,
he has to write it again.
So I thank you all from the bottom of my heart. And again, I will reiterate that if I have been able to do something, and it sounds cliche, but I really mean every word. It would not have been possible by the people, without the people who have helped every step of the way. For example, if you say that I've helped a lot of people, mentored a lot of people, I always respond. You can't imagine that happening without Toastmaster Imran and DTM Ali and so many other people sitting in this room. Also, if you know, let me tell you a secret. Respect begets respect, and feedback begets feedback. Because all of you are so responsive and respectful, so one has to keep up their game all the time. And I cannot imagine not responding to any of you because you all do so much for me, for yourselves, and for this club. So all of you have more than earned whatever I have done or I've been able to do. So please, please keep that always in mind that if I've been able to give you anything, you have all more than earned it. And examples are sitting right in this room. For example, Toastmaster Imran. I don't think there's a harder working person in the entire history. Community as a whole in the world. And DTM Ali was talking about his icebreaker when Toastmaster GQ was actually delivering his icebreaker and you were delivering your first table topic. And guess what? He's a DTM today. Get the message? Same goes for DTM Soundshare. I mean, both these guys, they delivered project after project and pathway after pathway. Toastmaster Rabia is doing the same. And imagine how that has enriched our club and that has enriched our meetings. So the credit really belongs to all of you. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart, honestly speaking. Once again, if I've been able to do anything, it has all because of you. It could have never happened. No, you're mistaken. I can put up a very good act. But moving on, we will have, and yes, so I'll be taking over VP Education and remind me to always give Toastmaster Nuha a speech slot, but never give her. So I will first disclose the Critics' Choice Awards in the reverse order. Third place goes to DTM Ali Asharajum. Congratulations. Second place goes to Toastmaster Anand. Third place goes to DTM Sarfraz. Congratulations. Now I'll call our resident vote counter.
Thank you very much. So, fellow Toastmasters and honorable guests, it's now I think 9:50 p.m. We also have to actually cut the cake as well. So let's get on with this. The best prepared speaker, the third place goes to DTM Sarfaraz Nazir. The second place goes to Toastmaster Nuha.
Goes to
ATM Ali Ashraf.
And now for the best prepared speech evaluated. The third place goes to DTM Talab Ahmed. The second place goes to DTM Sarfaraz Nasir. First place goes to the person whose name I did not write, but he won Toastmaster Vasek. Now, the best facilitator award goes to the person who absolutely made us miserable. Accurate, on point, precise. Toastmaster Noah. Goes to the person who, no, not the person, but after a tie, the person who broke the tie was the vote counter, and it goes to DTM Sarfaraz Nasir.
Thank God the voting is over, because every 5 minutes DTM Sir was asking me to break the tie. There was a tie in virtually everything. But that's a good thing. So this brings, thankfully, the meeting to a close. Do we have any announcements, Mr. VP Education?
No.
Picnic announcement.
Yes.
Oh, please.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. So now our attentions will turn towards the upcoming picnic. But is that
I'll
before
turn
the
into
next meeting?
Toastmaster Imran and send you all messages after every 10 minutes.
So broadcast be ready for a plethora of messages about the upcoming picnic.
Yeah.
And come what may, come monsoon or thunder or rain or shine, inshallah we will have it KTC fashion. If we can have a KTC meeting during a tropical rainstorm,
Yes, exactly.
and during a lethal gas outbreak, yeah, you guys don't want to know. That was quite a bit ago. Then of course we can have this picnic. So before we wind up, I'd like our honorable guest from Sri Lanka, Toastmaster Noha, to briefly give a feedback on the meeting.
Yeah, thank you so much. So I have met you in online for the second time, because you have been in IBH or somewhere in that club, right? That Toastmaster Arum Girls is there. So I have been an evaluator. So I'm so glad to be the part of this meeting as well, because it was my last speech which I have to be done before this term to get my award. So I was preparing for since like 2-3 weeks to this speech, and I got a lot of comments on this. Thank you so much, every single person. And also it was really amazing speech. Your guys laughing and making this meeting so energy and enthusiastic. Also the evaluators and the speakers, I have learned a lot from you all to work on my future speeches as well. And the Toastmaster of the day, you were awesome as much as I thought, because I have met him for the first time, but he was very energy and also like laughing and keeping humorous meeting. And also, thank you all for giving me opportunity. And I'm really very sorry. I was not listening to 2 or 3 speakers because of power cut. Just now also the power cut went and came. Also the Toastmaster Imran, I'm really very so disturbing since like 1 week or something. I was just disturbing him like, how can I attend the meeting and then give the agenda, give the flyers. So also, but thank you so much everyone. I don't have anything to say. I'm so happy to be part of this meeting as well in future.
And now, yeah, we have a guest. Yeah, please come on the stage.
My name is Ali Imran Malik. It was my first day. I learned about this group from Facebook. So I thought, why not give it a chance? I came here, I really enjoyed, and I learned a lot from you guys, and hope to, keep on coming to your meetings and become a regular.
This is what we say to every first-time visitor, that ordinarily our meeting don't last this long. but it's true. But it's true. Today we had a year and the last meeting of the year, and it was a speaker-thon. So it had 10 speeches. Usually,
we have only 9.
Long projects.
So that makes 20 speeches.
I didn't feel bored at all.
Thank you so much for that.
Then you should become a member.
you are qualified KTC member material. Then. You should sign up right now. In fact, VP membership, outgoing VP membership. Please take his contact.
Yes.
And but again, our meetings end by 9:15 or 9:30, and if your schedule doesn't suit, you can join in the middle and leave whenever you can. So, with that done, there is one more thing I felt that was quite, I don't know why all the attention was skewed towards me, but I believe there is a standing ovation in order. So, everyone please stand up. And standing ovation to our VP Education. After today?
Yes, I guess.
128 awards. Wow. And not only that, but 5 DTM awards. And I don't know how many pathways. That's truly an extraordinary performance by any count. So thank you so much. And let me also take the opportunity to announce that he will not only be taking over as Area Director of Area 1, but he will be taking over as VP Education of Karachi Toastmasters Club. So I'm surprised that he passed up an opportunity to publicize that club. But I asked you to come on the stage. But let me do that for you. Karachi is the only official Urdu Toastmasters Club of Pakistan. It just became distinguished, and all of you are invited. If you want to explore speaking in Urdu, please attend and take membership. So, with that, we finally, really, 100% bring this meeting to a close. And I thank all the online participants. I'm stopping the recording. And you're all welcome if you want to say or share anything in this last